Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Experimental Edition. We're trying so many new technologies simultaneously. With me tonight are minions DrFunctional.
We can't see the stream on stream. Or, like, we can see it in YouTube, but just not here.
Yeah, same. I report same behavior.
Yeah, you'll need to look on YouTube. Well, you'll see the browser in StreamYard. Okay? You just can't see what's going on right now. Don't sweat it. Don't let it bother you.
Okay.
So,
hi,
DrFunctional.
He's from the government. He's here to help us. That's okay.
No.
Sora.
Hello.
You're just here to watch things burn, aren't you?
I'm enjoying this.
Okay, yeah, I think we're actually in 4K right now, so at least we've managed that.
Failure in 4K.
That's right. I mean, if you're gonna fail, do it big, right? And SkepTock.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, so I guess starting with the last first, how have you been since I last spoke with you? Because I don't think I was on Tuesday.
Nope.
So it's been a week since I've spoken with you. What are the high points?
Yeah, had a good show on Tuesday.
Yeah?
Johnny Hellcat came on, and we had big fun. Adam was there, and just kind of a boys' night out type of thing for about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
In other news this week, it just has been one little chore after another. Got some just a lot of kid type oriented things. So a lot of stuff with the grandkids. And
ready for summer?
The other thing that's happening is this Harvest Right freeze dryer that we've gotten. We're freeze drying everything from beef to cherries to mangoes. We did mangoes today. They were absolutely delicious. They're amazing.
Wow.
And we've got one of these Mylar, sealers, and we vacuum seal these things, put oxygenators in them, and go to town. We've got enough food well past our expected lifespan.
Well, I've got a guy putting in a new section of fence for me, and he's actually going to put concrete down and then put the boards in concrete, so the posts in concrete. Now, the good news about that is that it will probably last the rest of my lifetime. But if they come up with some sort of method by which people live a lot longer, I'm screwed, because that is going to be one hell of a fence to repair. That is going to suck hard. Because those pens, it's not like there's concrete and then you basically anchor the post to the concrete. It's like the post is in the concrete. That is going to be a pain. But, I'll be dead, so I don't care.
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit. Just start thinking in terms of time frames like, will this thing outlive me, yes or no? And then that informs the decision. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. People think that being 70 is bad. There's an upside to not have to deal with problems that you assholes are going to deal with in about 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be fun.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, sure.
This
it
is
always
fine.
was.
This is fine.
And that was the start of the 500 Years' War, Tommy.
Yeah. Hi, Sora.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Peachy.
How are things in the upper left coast?
Well, things are burning.
Really?
City's burning. People are getting stabbed and shot, and I feel very safe.
Are people trying to make toast? Because if you start by looking for bread, then the fire is so you can make toast.
Dogs and cats living together.
But other than that, no, I'm very good.
Okay.
No complaints.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Hi, Functional.
Hi, I'm back.
How's beautiful Toronto?
Good.
That good, huh?
Toronto.
Crowded, garbage laden, and annoying.
Weren't things
They
better
just
when you had
announced
the
a
fat pothead?
1.5 billion billion
Yeah.
for a single subway station
Yeah.
to put up those plexiglass fucking dividers on the platform that they have in like Japan. 1.5 billion for one freaking station.
Why do you need plexiglass dividers?
We don't have that problem. A. B. 1.5 billion. Like if there's any more like evidence people need that a lot of these institutions, like your local, your state, and your federal government, are nothing more than cash grab schemes and scams, look no further than your municipal projects in big cities.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, man.
Bullshit.
So, chat, do tell me if our audio is wanky. If like I'm way too hot, let me know, because I suspect I might be. All right, so let's look at an awesome animal. This animal right here. You see this thing, kitten up for adoption. It doesn't bother me or anything. It's just that I don't understand how he could kill that big rat. And the truth is that it scares me. Today it was the rat. Tomorrow it could be me. Now, this is a top cat. This is a Nigel killing. Look at him. Look at him take down a Nigel twice his size. And just think, when he's full grown, that's a fine cat. Okay, thank you, Green Badger. I think a cat like that, I mean, I'm not a big cat person, but I could totally go for a cat like that.
That's a cat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's an orange cat. They have orange cat attitude. They're the best.
They're the best.
Cats.
This little kitten will grow up to be the size of a small dog and will probably deter raccoons and skunks and other rats and vermin. They're really good. I mean, they keep your house clean and your area clean. Well, I mean, if they're outdoor cats, clean. Otherwise, they sit behind a window and they taunt.
If they're outdoor cats, their urine will keep the rats and mice away.
That too, yeah. When they go around in the yard.
Yeah, when they make their rounds.
Yeah.
Especially tomcat out there spraying.
Well, I like this cat. Let's give the POB to this cat, because this is a fine kitty right here. Okay, so
Yay.
well, unlike this cat, our commander-in-chief did the following.
I like the guys walking like I'm like.
I was so thinking about just which noises I could superimpose over that, like the you just lost all your money sound from The Price is Right, possibly.
Yeah, or
the
terminal malfunction in Windows. Dun, 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 dun.
You know, I mean, it's just so many noises. You know, down goes Frasier. You know,
sad trombone.
There's just so much Biden falling down. And this is our commander-in-chief. So did CNN, I haven't looked.
He ruined that graduation.
Well, did CNN cover it and say mostly stable presidency? How is the left spinning this?
Another happy landing.
Another happy landing? Man, I don't know. Well, okay, so I mean, Trump did comment on it almost immediately. Let's see what we have to bring that up here. Sorry, what were you going to say, Sora? You said something?
Good. No. I think I just made a noise on my headphones. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, not a problem. He looks very smug, doesn't he?
Yep. Can't ever fall.
He just fell on what stage? He's at the Aire Force Academy. He actually fell down. Well, I hope he wasn't hurt. But it's the whole thing is crazy.
Did an F-bomb almost slip out there? Because I kept thinking I almost heard him
God,
say
I
the
hope
whole
so.
thing. The whole thing is fake, and then, okay, so it's not just my imagination.
You got to be careful about that. You got to be careful about that because you don't want that. Even if you have to tiptoe down a ramp, you got to tiptoe. Like an ice skate. You know, it's a shame because that was the best speech I think I've ever made.
Okay, so in the annals of Trump being kind of a deeply flawed individual, I mean, not necessarily a bad president, but a deeply flawed individual, he hears that an 8,000-year-old man fell down, right? And it took him about 3 seconds to turn the conversation around to him and how awesome his speech was. So, I mean, on the one hand, he's sort of taking the high road, but he ends up turning it into a humble brag, which is like really not. Anyway, I'm just curious. What do the rest of you think about Joe Biden and or Trump's response to him falling down?
I love it.
Well, it's what other response is going to have? He did the pleasantries. He said he hoped he didn't get hurt, and the same because that the man is fragile. He's older. It's that kind of fall can severely injure him.
Mm-hmm.
A hip can be a death sentence. And yeah, it's also him. I feel like if he didn't bring it immediately to himself, people are going to wonder if he's okay. He has to also play up to his character too, right?
Yeah. Well, I think just separating his character from his job performance is the only way to not go completely insane. I mean, he is kind of a flawed individual. But at the same time, I don't think that he's done did a particularly bad job as president. I mean, he's not perfect. I haven't seen a perfect president in a long time, but you know, he did a good job on a lot of the key points. You know, removing regulations stuff. But anyway, this is about Biden. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about the Little Mermaid thing later, and I had this thought, which was, what if I went into AI and I asked it to make me images of Joe Biden sniffing the Little Mermaid?
Ew. It takes over. I feel like this is a beauty.
You think we're just asking for trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Says anyone else lose audio?
This is so fucking perverted.
Oh, good. There's no audio. Excellent. Oh, you should have audio now. Oh, I know. There's no audio on the image thing. That's because I'm an idiot and I don't know how to use OBS. I apologize, everybody. Okay, let's go back to...
OBS is hard, okay?
OBS is hard, and this is complicated. All right, so let's see. But, you know, they did lose audio, but they did get that outstanding picture of Joe Biden with the Little Mermaid. I think, on balance, it's better that way, don't you think?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So.
Okay. All right, well, that's enough of that. I mean, what do you say? The guy's old, he's uncoordinated, he's in mental decline, but apparently this is just what we get. this is what the Democrats have to offer. It just seems so insufficient. Even this guy, even James Vanderbeek, even James Vanderbeek thinks it's BS.
Dawson.
Yeah.
Cannot get over the fact that the Democratic National Committee is saying there will not be a debate to decide the nominee for president. Are you kidding me? Over an 80-year-old man, who, if he lives, will be the oldest sitting president in the history of the country. And if he doesn't live, has a vice president whose approval rating is worse than his. The guy's obviously declining mental faculties. You're putting him up in front of a podium with flashcards telling him who to call on and what the questions are going to be. You're telling us there's no debate?
I don't get the impression that James Vanderbeek is like some sort of closet conservative. I think that his response is pretty organic and that a lot of Democrats feel exactly this way.
Yes.
How can they not? How could they not feel this way? It's like you're telling me that we're going to get Joe Biden as the nominee and there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, I guess other people could run against him, right? But without debate exposure, how is anybody going to rise up from sort of the lower ranks?
You're not going to get any delegates. The way that that happens, as I understand it, at the convention, is that you haven't got a certain number of pledged delegates. You physically cannot get the nomination. So that all happens prior to the convention itself.
Wow.
I guarantee you that this is going to be rigged all the way. All Biden has to do is live. All he has to do is continue to fog glass, and he will be. It'll be really interesting because what you're going to have is the, Democrats and all their machinations, all the amazing electoral miracles they seem to always be able to pull out of the hat against a really pissed off country that's sick of this old bastard. And you might just have enough crossover to vote for somebody like Trump to where covering it up with, mail-in ballots is going to look too embarrassing to pull off successful. And if that happens, Trump could win. Trump could win that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios here where Trump could win, but I think the media is swinging about 10% of the votes by just manipulating people. That's
at
a pretty
least 10%. Probably, I think that's low, Harry. I think it's probably more like 25% of the vote. Really, truly.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
see.
you have those people who tend to be more ignorant and less activated in politics, but you can see it in what I would consider someone like Vanderbeek, and I see it a lot on social media. A lot of more, air quotes, normie type people coming out and going, "What the F is like going on here? This guy's an embarrassment." And these would be people that I would have thought, and some have said, lifelong Democrat voter. But this is ridiculous. I'm not, maybe not necessarily voting for Trump or the Republican nominee, but I'm not voting for this guy yet. This is ridiculous. Like either they're going to abstain, they're going to vote third party. Some will vote Republican, whoever the Republican ticket is, Trump. But I see it slowly beating the media machine inch by inch. It's not a big reveal, but it has been. More and more people are kind of waking up to this kind of stuff. And in relation to that, without getting too down the rabbit hole of the last election, some people who, again, would have never questioned it, lifelong Democrat voters, some have even taken the media's side up until now, but have kind of looked at it and go, there's no way this guy won. There's no way this guy won. And it's actually giving me a sense of hope for the country, because if more normie people are waking up to this fact, then maybe we can drain a little bit more of the swamp. I mean, it's going to be an ongoing process. You can't stop, defending your morals and your convictions and your national identity, which are all at risk here. I don't know. Am I rambling?
I don't know, man. I think you're just frustrated, so everybody's frustrated.
Well, I mean, I've got Trudeau, so I mean, like, I'm just a notch above you guys. Like, yeah, Sora and I, we're in the same ballpark, but at least it's not Biden. We know our enemy.
If Biden kicks, Gavin Newsom's going to be the nominee.
Think so?
Yeah. Who else would it be?
That'd be terrible.
Well,
pretty sure they will pass up Kamala for Gavin.
Yeah.
That'll be Trudeau 2.0.
Gavin Newsom's a lot smarter than Trudeau, sorry. Trudeau's actually kind of a freaking idiot. Gavin Newsom may be a lot of things, but he's not stupid.
He's evil.
No, but I think he's an asshole. And he's
Yeah. So imagine Trudeau, but smart. Like all these people say, I'm going to go back in time and kill Hitler when he was a baby. It's like, why? So somebody competent could take his place with the same ideas? No, that's the terrible idea.
Yeah.
As bad as it is, maybe having the idiot who invades Russia in the winter, not learning from Napoleon, maybe that's the least bad choice.
A Führer named Rommel could have changed history.
Oh, God. Let's not think about that. That's terrible. Yeah. Okay. Just saying, I know. All right, let's see. So let's move along. Let's keep this party going here. Actor blows up. So this is a thing that happened. California county judge robbed right outside courthouse in Soros-Backed prosecutor's district. So this, the nice lady on the left, we've actually talked about her. That is District Attorney Pamela Price of Alameda County, the beautiful county in which Oakland resides, and we all know how I feel about Oakland. Oakland is the fish of cities, and it essentially right before 9 a.m., he shows up at work, parks in the parking lot for the judicial folks, right? For the people who work in the courthouse. And right before 9 a.m.
It's not a protected parking lot?
3 young gentlemen searching for bread decided to come and deprive him of his possessions. So you have to wonder how is this supposed to work? I mean, because this is a Soros-Backed DA who believes in restorative justice. Just recently, she did another one of her great things where she found a way to get 2 out of 3 murder convictions for somebody who's been in jail for 14 years for killing 3 people, sort of vacated.
Lovely.
So we can get this guy out in another 10 years. Yeah, so she's looking for excuses. I mean, I would think her job as prosecutor would be to uphold her part of the equation, which is to put people in jail, right? And then the defenders fight with all of their, and do anything legal to keep their people out of jail. But she just sort of takes upon herself to go, well, I think the testimony of the person who, that we used to put for 2 of these murders seems kind of weak. Like, we cut him a deal and then he testified. So I don't feel that was really that strong. We should just get rid of that. Just get rid of those 2 things. And she managed to convince a judge. I just wonder whose side she's on. No, I don't. I know whose side she's on. It's the criminals. She's on the criminal side. That's what this means. Because these people believe that if somebody commits a crime like that, the reason for it is not that these people are just pieces of shit. It's that some injustice in their past drove them to do it. And there are people in the world who are just terrible. Who like the Menendez brothers, right? They killed their parents, and they were like rich kids. They had everything, and then they just killed their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it in their background that caused that, Price? Some people are just pieces of shit who need to be isolated from the rest of us. I'm not saying that the person that she let go falls into that category, but she views everybody like that, especially if you're of a particular hue. Sorry, now I'm just rambling.
Well, yeah, she looks at things in terms of power. Pressers and pressed, and then votes her heart, which I'm sure she feels like is absolutely morally the right thing to do. She's doing the real hard moral work, you know, and of course getting no credit from the white press, which just reinforces her.
I know, we're terrible, aren't we?
I say.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, this happened.
A sudden and violent attack caught on camera on this local street. The disturbing surveillance video now shedding new light on the attack by a homeless woman on a teen girl. And it also shows how an eyewitness who came to help came under attack himself. That brave man now speaking out about the frightening moments. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher joining us live.
So this homeless woman attacked a young girl, young teen, and then two men, well, one man originally came to her defense and then another man closely followed. And this woman pulled out a knife and essentially slashed the face of one of the guys who came to basically help, because we have to punish anybody who tries to do a good deed. Luckily, his friend is an EMT, as you'll find out.
With his story, Michelle.
Mark, that Good Samaritan tells us he and his friend were actually on their way out of town with their daughters for a camping trip when, like you mentioned, all of a sudden their day took a very unexpected and violent turn.
An unprovoked attack caught on camera. Watch as a young girl is repeatedly punched by a transient in the middle of a Willowbrook sidewalk.
Terrible.
I seen the homeless person that had just passed me strike a little girl in the face. I ran over to help.
It all happened around 8 last Friday morning as off-duty security
broad
guard
daylight.
John Arias is parking nearby. He quickly rushes in to help. The young girl is eventually able to get up and walk away. What happens next? Blocked by the fence.
The homeless person got up and started to retrieve something. And before I could find out what it was, I went for the takedown, slashed me in the face. I got slashed right across.
Damn.
I got about 6
That's for real.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get him in the eye.
There's blood on the cement. There's blood on the sus.
So, luckily, his friend was with him, who's, you know, so he's an off-duty security guard, so he knows how to handle himself at least a little bit. Okay, at least a little bit. We don't know how much training he's had, but it's more than zero. And his friend is an EMT. Talk about lucky. This young girl did absolutely nothing, and she just happened. I mean, if you're going to be attacked,
the homeless person did absolutely nothing too.
If you're going to be attacked by that crazy homeless woman, at least there's an off-duty security guy and an EMT who are going to run to your aid.
The homeless woman did nothing wrong. Remember,
right?
And just a downright good human being who sees somebody in distress and goes to help.
My God.
I would like to think that I would do the same thing, but the world is just teaching me that this is a bad idea. I mean, how many messages do we get? I mean, if I step in and try to help, am I going to get stabbed? Am I going to go to jail?
Ask yourself the question.
Yeah.
If you were in that position and you were really about to get hurt or killed unless somebody helped you, you know, how bad would you want them to intervene?
Exactly.
That's the question that I ask myself, and then I intervene and get in trouble.
Yeah.
I do this in my personal life as well.
Well, we have that case in New York about the guy who used the chokehold to subdue the crazy person on the subway. And of course, they're going after him.
Have you watched that all the way through?
I believe so, yeah.
Man, that was a brutal and intense set of moments.
You remember when men sort of got tired of being called sexist every time we opened a door for a woman, and so we just stopped?
Yeah.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still
Yes
have
and
a
no.
buck or two out on the back 40.
Yeah. Were you going to say functional?
I like to think that there would people would still do that because it's just in their nature. Because I've been one of those people where I've intervened or I've had to have a physical altercation to protect myself or another. And even with the things the way they are here, and I mean, Kanakistan, there is no right to self-defense. I've been lucky to not get in trouble, but that's always kind of the last thing in my mind. I act. Nothing makes sense. I was explaining in great detail to Sanguine one night what had happened once when I saved a woman in an alleyway. I was Batman. No, but I mean, someone was getting attacked, and I helped. And honestly, I don't remember what happened. Like, I don't have any memory of the actual thing happening. I know it happened. I know I was there, but the actual specifics of the series of events that happened as the sort of adrenaline took over, and even in that state, I know that when you do something like this gentleman did, I wish he was a little bit better trained in security, because you never treat the aggressor as down and out, which I think that the subway gentleman probably took a little too far. And once he became limp, like, should have immediately sort of let go, created some space just to check to see, just my 2 cents on my personal experience, because I've had that thing happen.
Well, didn't they try to care for him? If you knock
someone down, if you punch someone out and they're reeling or whatever, you never treat them as defeated until you have fully removed you and whoever else from that situation, because like this woman can just get up and slash him across the face. Like, I probably, as soon as I saw them going for something, I probably would have done something. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say.
Okay, if I was in New York, right, and Alan Bragg was my district attorney, I'm not sure what I would do if I was in New York, especially if the person I would have to basically intervene with was in one of the protected classes. If it was like another white dude, sure. But if it was somebody who's like a protected class, I'm not sure I would. I think I might just go, no, I owe it to the people that rely on me not to throw my life away.
Yeah.
And that's the wrong way to be, because I want to actually help people.
I guess it hits a bit different. I should maybe a little bit stronger when it's from your own backyard. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, I know.
Sure, someone getting attacked in my neighborhood, I'd be more inclined to intervene than if I was visiting Sora in BC. Yeah, for sure. Unless it was Sora, then I'd be like, here I come.
I once had a problem where
here I come to save the day.
When I was in the hospitality industry, there was this guy who would come in, and we were pretty sure he was dealing drugs. And I know this because he was basically the boyfriend of the sister of a friend of mine. I know it's a little tenuous, but I had some reason to believe this was true. Okay. And he got in somebody's face and punched this guy, and this was a dangerous dude, and he just took this guy out. And I ended up, it wasn't a good idea to basically admit guilt, when I was managing a restaurant, to sort of act in a way but I decided I didn't care, and I made sure that he got to the hospital. And I mean, I said as little as possible, but I made sure he was taken care of. Okay, that's what I did. I threw my keys to somebody else, kicked that guy out, had somebody call the police, put that guy in my car, drove him to the hospital. And then I later made sure that the people who needed to know about this asshole knew about this asshole. Now, that final step was putting me in a lot of personal danger. You should not underestimate the amount of danger I was taking on, but it was the right thing to do at the time. I don't know if old Harry would do the same thing now, because I just feel like we're being beaten down to not do the right thing. I'm glad I did the right thing when I was younger. I'm glad it didn't blow up and nobody, who I care about got hurt. I was very careful about making sure that it didn't come back to me too easily.
Well,
but
you get the feeling you didn't really care for the feeling of being pushed.
Well, I didn't like seeing innocent people get hurt. I didn't feel like it was an issue for me.
No, that you as a person don't like to see other people.
Oh God, no! I have way too much empathy. It's why I could never be an EMT. I'm not going to be getting out the Tom Mix top pocket knife and doing a tracheostomy and shoving intubation tubes in people. I'm not doing any of that. I have way too much empathy to be in healthcare.
And I think that's more a feature. It's not a bug. It's what tinfoil hattie time. It's kind of what whoever they are, want, because they want us broken. They want us needing to turn to mommy, daddy government. They want us to rely on them. They don't want us to come to each other's aid. They want us, broken. They want this stuff to happen. I definitely, with everything that's been going on, this is by design. So that's why, in my mind, even in my old crippled state, I would probably do the same thing that this guy did in the video. I would try to intervene. Fuck, I have.
Well, I want to take a moment and just address chat. Nice to see so many familiar faces there. Green Badger, Kiever Dam, Costin.
Hello.
Excellent. Nothing to see here.
Stay strapped or get clapped. George
That's right.
Washington. I love it.
There?
Yeah, there he is. Sorry, missed it. I'm juggling way too many things at a time. We have to find a simpler way to do this, but that's inside baseball. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So, how about we go on to the next thing? It's not quite as infuriating. It's differently infuriating. Okay. Stop that. Stop that. Oi, have you got a license for that? So do you realize what just happened? These kids had permission to basically perform here at the National... I'm trying to find what this thing's called. It's one of the national galleries, right? And so they have all these statues, and they had permission from 3 different people to do it. But one of the guards is like, no, this is like a political protest. You're not allowed to protest in here. It's like singing the second verse of our national anthem as a protest with 3 kinds of authorization.
The homeless guy with the badge is making this decision.
Yeah,
But
apparently.
the coral guy was kind of an idiot. Like, he knows if you have permission, you're gonna let some rando come up to you that's not the higher up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they traveled to be there. they
I would have looked over at him and I would say, call the police, arrest me. Arrest me for this. I want you to do that.
Like, who are you? Tell me, after having the permissions and doing everything to be able to be there, telling me no, unless you are the person who gave me the permission in the first place, coming down in person or whatever, text me no.
Yeah, exactly.
So get Ben Lackey.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's a bit of a he's a little bit of a wet noodle. That's okay.
Wet noodle. That's very nice. Very
great. Green Badger has a great comment. First Amendment unavailable comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Well, actually, if we, I was just thinking that we could use some of the gender stuff as a loophole so we can make more castrati. Just think those young boys could hang on to that lovely singing voice for decades.
Those young men are not going to castrate themselves.
That's right. On the downside, no testicles. On the upside.
Yeah. The upside.
Anyway, these people suck. I'm not really sure what we should say about this other than these people suck. We can move on to the next thing.
Houses for women who hate you.
Exactly. So this is another thing that happened. Lululemon fired 2 employees that confronted masked robbers.
Really?
No. No. Seriously. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Just telling them to get out?
Yeah.
And they got fired for this.
So they have... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you know about this, right?
No.
Okay.
I read into this. So basically, the company or that particular location has a zero policy. Zero tolerance policy, sorry, for approaching shoplifters. Okay. and I suppose they considered them filming, shouting at them, and later calling the police and allowing the police to arrest them at another Lululemon location for sometime that day to be approaching the shoplifters. So that's why they were terminated without cause, or with cause, I guess. And it gets better. I think the Lululemon had a statement basically calling them like guests. We never harass our guests, which implies that they're guests, and then basically saying, yes, please come steal from us. Would never dare call the police or whatever. And apparently these particular robbers have hit that store numerous times. This is one of quite a handful of times that they've been stealing things. So yeah, so it left them without insurance. It left one of the women and her family without health insurance, because that's what was giving them health insurance. The other one now didn't have families, but this was like what was barely covering her rent, so now she has to find other job. It's just absolutely gross situation.
Where was this?
This is in Georgia. Now, so the policy was that you couldn't try to stop them. You couldn't get in their way. It also was their policy that you're not allowed to call the police. They literally had a barcode you would scan, and then you would move on, nothing to see here. Now, these women didn't block their way, but you can sense that maybe they were a little frustrated having the same young gentleman, guests, come and steal from them repeatedly.
Yeah.
And so at some point they're just like, no, get out, get out, get out. Right. And then you can see
that in a little shop in Midlothian, Texas.
You're saying it would play out differently?
Fatally.
What would happen in Austin? And I'm not trying to be a smartass, but I know Austin is really progressive, but it is still part of Texas technically. What would happen in Austin?
Them and bid them well and say namaste.
Really? I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm actually looking for a serious answer. Okay.
It is completely rotten. It's in Ann Arbor.
Okay. Well, that sounds terrible.
I know. Berkeley, only meaner.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. Man, Berkeley used to be a fun place. You know, I was talking about I think in the last show about looking back as opposed to looking, it being okay to look back, and how much I like the fact that the food's better. My main complaint is that a lot of things just aren't nearly as much fun as they used to be. I mean, fun used to be a thing that was readily available. You could go to the beach, start a bonfire, invite 50 of your friends. It just wasn't a problem. And you could just do things. Everything, it was just like the world was there. And as long as you followed the basic rules, you could just do pretty much what you wanted to do. And now it's like, there's no fun. How are you supposed to have fun when there's like thugs like this running around just robbing you blind? When you're worried about keeping your store open, I mean, what kind of life are these people supposed to live, even if they hadn't been fired? In some ways, being fired might be the best thing that ever happened to them. They can go work someplace else that isn't Lululemon.
That doesn't think that they're... Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that keep you up at night, Functional, if you were in a situation where something like this was happening and you were prohibited from doing something? You'd go home at night and what are you going to do? Drink heavily? Medicate yourself to not thinking about it? I don't know about the rest of you, but I would lose sleep over this every single night. It would bother me that much.
It would bother me. I don't think I would lose sleep over it. I would probably do the same that they did, get fired, and then be like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and just walk out with a whole bunch of clothes.
Yeah.
Then again, I might be the wrong hue.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, you've not to be the person to point that out, you're having two blonde ladies versus, well, they may have been masked. They did not look blonde and blue-eyed, you know.
Hey, Sora, while we're talking about clothes that cost too much, remember that thing I sent you? earlier today.
Wait, the three-eyed one?
Yeah. So Etsy thinks that I need to shop at this store, the festival outfits for men and women. Hipster
Damn,
So I
boho.
actually
you can
clicked.
shop at that store.
I ended up, once I got home, clicking through to actually look at there's some phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, like chainmails, and
Yeah, it's all pretty impressive.
it's all stolen photographs.
You think so?
But yeah.
I think this
But
is is this what people wear to festivals? Is this fun?
Sure.
I love that mirror jumpsuit. That one that's the featured item is gorgeous.
Okay. It's just me being terrible.
Oh no! I mean, this is where else are you gonna? You have to wear this, right? Like Burning Man,
Yeah.
Coachella, EDC. Like these are the only places where you can wear this.
Well, But the good thing about Etsy is they can't shoplift from you. Do you think that like Lululemon and stores like that are all just going to end up going out of business eventually and just get replaced by online stuff?
Yes. Yes.
I don't see an option. Well, anyway, here's something fun. Oh, wait. It actually won't load. Oh, never mind. Let's look at something else fun.
That's not fun.
This is fun.
Can we get a palate cleanser or something?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, I saw this. That's so much fun.
Camera knocks over climate protester.
Watch this guy.
Look at me. I'm a climate douche.
That's beautiful. That angle. I saw it from another angle. This is, oh god, cameraman is beautiful.
Good job, cameraman.
Camera angle that's 90 degrees from this is even better.
But you know, those cameras are pretty expensive. I don't think he did that on purpose. Do you?
Oh, I think that camera operator very definitely did that on purpose.
Those cameras are expensive, Skep. That is not a thing to bludgeon somebody with.
But it was worth it.
Agree with you.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
That was a moment of frustration on the part of the camera operator, and he said, "Hey, wait a minute, I've got a hammer."
Okay, so
A
Skep,
nail. That looks like a nail.
So I know you don't drink, Skep, but
No, I
maybe
don't.
you can still appreciate this. This seems like a great woodworking project. He just added a cup holder.
Wait.
Here, I'll play it again.
That's nuts. That's great. Great stuff.
Oh,
that's funny.
Stuff that's.
I mean, anything really in a can shape can go in that, you know?
Yeah.
Seltzer water.
Yeah.
Pop.
Bong.
Yeah, I suppose you could. you could just, have some grass with your grass.
Skep watering his tomatoes and taking a fat rip.
So I found a bunch of cool stuff. Well, stuff that I thought was cool. How about this? U.S. Army evasive driving training video, 1988.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
just fast forward here.
Several evasive driving
Uh-oh. There's some thugs.
Commies.
Uh-oh.
Drive the general.
This driver and his passenger have driven into a trap. In real life, they'd be dead.
You are fired.
This video goes on for 20 minutes. I watched the whole thing.
The music alone is outstanding. I would love to know the origin of that music.
Well, this is
a
great.
classical piece, isn't it?
Oh, that's Vivaldi. From the Four Seasons. I'm not
Four
sure I
Seasons,
remember
isn't
which
it?
one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But as great as that is, it's not going back far enough. Okay, vehicle ambush, counterattacks, California 1976.
Oh yeah!
This is great. Sorry, I'm just tired of talking about the news for a bit, so we're going to watch this for a while
I can
while
make a guitar
de-stress.
make that exact sound.
Oh my god, how slow is that car going to allow them to prep?
This is from the California State Police. Oh, no, wait, that's another one. Sorry, this is the U.S. auto industry one. But I think this is California State Police. Look at her. She's got a walkie-talkie. She's a bad girl, the kind your mom warned you about.
Wow.
Schnell, mach schnell.
Yeah. And now you're kidnapped. So this is just the setup. It actually goes into evasive driving techniques.
You can survive terrorist ambush. You saw a small sedan stop a vehicle weighing 3 times as much. It shouldn't have happened. It did. And has several times in the past few years in terrorist ambushes. But it won't happen to you.
Let me give you a little clue as to what's going to happen. They're going to point out drivers like to protect the cars that they're paid to drive. But when you get into these situations, just ram the damn car out of the way. They give you specific advice on like where to hit them. So, essentially, just like the CHP knows how to do pit maneuvers, in situations like this, yeah, destroy your radiator. Just get the hell away from these people.
Right.
Because it's a life or death sort of situation. So they go through all sorts of different scenarios.
Surrendering. This will give you precious seconds to evaluate the actual situation and to assess your next move. Pick a point to ram on the blocking vehicle. If possible, aim at the right rear wheel area, either at the wheel or slightly to the rear of the wheel.
Minions of the Zoo does not endorse ramming
while
cars.
aiming your right front fender at the target impact point. Build speed and accelerate.
Look at the dummies.
The blocking vehicle. Don't ease off the accelerator. Bubble, don't panic and hit the brakes. And
I expect the head fell off that one. I don't know. I guess I have a weird idea of what's entertaining.
Like, that's just sad.
Sorry. Okay. Well, let's see. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
That's awesome.
Let's see. So this is another thing that happened.
Actor Bill Cosby is facing a new sexual assault civil lawsuit. His accuser is Victoria Valentino of Los Angeles. Former Playboy centerfold model and actress is suing Cosby under a new California law that temporarily lifts the statute of limitations on civil sexual assault cases.
New California law that temporarily lifts the statute of limitations
Why
on
have
sexual
a statute of
assault
limitations
suits.
if it can be temporarily lifted periodically?
Of course.
That's
Now-
not a statute of limitations because it doesn't limit anything.
So supposedly this happened in 1969. She and one of her girlfriends, he offered them some pills, said everybody will have a better time if we just take these pills. And being 1969, they said that sounds like a great idea, and they took them. What she's alleging is that she got a hot Cosby, and we know this has happened to lots of other people. My question is, I think probably he's guilty just because of the other things we know about him. But those other things aren't really supposed to matter in a case like this. And how can Bill Cosby get a fair trial?
He can't.
How can he get a fair trial if you get rid of the statute of limitations, and then
no change of venue for him?
There's no change of venue for him. How can we have a legal system that there's no way to get a fair trial in? I mean, I can't see how this could be allowed.
Technically, our system of justice says if that situation obtains where there's that level of notoriety, you can't charge them. You can't try them. If you can't try them fairly, you cannot try them. That is the bedrock of our jurisprudence. It really is.
Yeah, she had a while to come forward too, and I'm not saying that if she got the hot Cosby, that she wasn't due something back then.
Yeah.
Right? The statute of limitations exists for a reason. Part of it is that you can't have a fair trial after a certain amount of time has passed. The trail is too close. They're too cold. There's no evidence trail. How do you verify anything? Who are the witnesses that were alive in 1969 to verify the story?
I think you may not be evaluating it on the right basis, Harry.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
Well, no, here's the actual way that a lawyer would. A lawyer's going to say, do I like this guy, Bill Cosby? No, I don't. Okay, well, then I'll vote to get him some legal way and make it legal, and I don't care about anything else, because that's the way they operate. That's exactly what they did, and that was done. That was done for this type of a thing, so that these women who didn't get a chance to get reparations can come forward and get their just due for men who treated them badly, or they allege they treated them badly, and they think that these guys can get fair trials these days. And, Bill Cosby's too notorious. That's why he can't get a fair trial. I'm sure there's a way they deal with that legally, because they seem to get around that. A lot of very famous people.
Yeah, maybe in 1969 people didn't realize that taking random pills from strangers was a bad idea. Given that it was actually
a much more innocent time.
It was a much more innocent time where people would go to have parties, and you'd have one bowl for the keys and one bowl for all the donated pharmaceuticals. People would just grab handfuls of pills and take them, and then just see what happens.
That was the year of my first acid trip, and there was a lot of that stuff around.
Yeah.
Sobering thought. That was 50 years ago. Gee, I should know.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know what happened that night? Were you there, Skep? Did you see Bill Cosby over in the booth?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There aren't enough people like you who can actually verify this thing. The thing that just bugs me about it is I just don't like seeing, whether he's guilty or not, him be charged in a way that he can't defend himself from. This is the whole thing with a lot of these laws. It's like, yeah, nobody wants sexual assault to go unpunished. Nobody wants that.
But now there's something else happening here, I actually think. And that is that there's the Bill Cosby estate is kind of the cash cow now. And so everybody wants to line up and milk the cash cow. And so what they said was, well, we've got some ladies who would like to milk the cash cow, but we need a law so that they can get around the statute of limitations, so they can get to the cash cow for their milk. And so they obligingly pass this law, and they line up and they're milking the cow. That's what's really going on here. This is being driven by insurance companies and lawyers.
Well, moving on. The Daily Beast put together an absolutely ridiculous article. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and the apocalyptic centrists. The Daily Beast is of the opinion that Joe Rogan and Elon Musk are spreading all sorts of conspiracy theories and doomsday pronouncements and things.
Beast.
And it couldn't be more obvious to me that Joe Rogan is kicking their ass in terms of viewers, popularity, relevance. And they just don't like Elon Musk because he took away all the free blue check marks from all their fancy friends. So they've got, the Daily Beast has an axe to grind with both of these people, and this article is just the worst because it tries to claim that it's journalism, and it is not journalism. This is just propaganda and hard feelings, from what I can tell. The nice people over at The Hill actually did a little bit of a video on it. Let's just play a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's
The Daily
annoying
Beast
music.
is out with a new op-ed targeting Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, and other so-called, quote, apocalyptic centrists. The author writes, the grandiosity of the conspiracy theories pushed by Musk and his cohort, which include hugely popular and influential intellectual dark web commentators like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, are what make them exceptional.
Okay, I just want to take issue with this briefly. Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson are not part of the dark web. Okay? The dark web is the part of the web that isn't integrated into the domain name service. So essentially you have to find some way to go find this stuff based on like an IP address. And I mean, there's more to it than that. But if you can go to Spotify and you can turn on Joe Rogan, or you can go to YouTube and watch videos of Jordan Peterson, they're not on the dark web. Okay, just clarifying that, just because the Daily Beast people clearly don't understand what the dark web is. The dark web is where the bad people sell drugs and human trafficking and all other stuff. It was like that. What was it? Was it called Silk Road, or the thing that they started
Silk
up?
Road.
Yeah, it's like that, except without a way to, unless you have to know somebody to tell you which IP address to go to on a certain day. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
These aren't goofy UFO conspiracy theories. This is serious stuff. The kind of stuff that would make you crazy enough to sack the Capitol, threaten the life of the Vice President and Speaker of the House, and think you're the good guy.
So those darn centrists are just making it impossible for the government not to be taken down by a coup, apparently. I believe that's what the Daily Beast is trying to peddle in this article that they put together. And as somebody who's frequently referred to himself as an alt-centrist, I feel like they're coming after me.
Yeah, I think Harry and I are very much on that arc somewhere, probably nearly on the same point. Wouldn't you say, Harry?
Yeah, I mean, as far as conspiracy stuff goes, I know a lot of people who are far more sort of in tune with conspiracies than I am. I don't particularly like conspiracies. I usually, if somebody comes to me with an argument of the form, well, you know, most people don't know about the real truth, let me clue you in, I tend not to pay too much attention to that sort of thing.
You asked the question, why do you know something that the most people don't know?
Yeah. You know, because they've got some letter of the alphabet associated with them, or, you know, those people.
Right.
And they can just, you know, you create an echo chamber.
Take the numbers in the letter and do it backwards.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that they're not right. I mean, there are conspiracy theories that have been proven to be correct. You know, things about how we ended up in the Korean War, for instance. It was canon that
or the Iraq War.
that you know, certain things happened in a particular way, and it turns out it was all just sort of made up. And there's still credible people who believe that because we broke the purple cipher of the Japanese, et cetera, Pearl Harbor. I don't think that makes these people crazy. And I don't think it means that we should just ignore these people, but the idea that there's some sort of slippery slope argument that if we let these people spread their dangerous rumors that somehow it's going to cause the downfall of the government, I think that's grossly irresponsible for anybody who claims to be a journalist to say something like that.
Yeah, but Brianna Greyjoy isn't exactly.
Well, she's not saying
I guess it's the Daily Beast. Yeah,
she's talking about what the Daily Beast says.
Brianna Joy Gray.
I know what I said.
Yeah, she's better than Karine Jean-Pierre. Couldn't Julianne Malveaux do better than Jean-Pierre? I mean, seriously?
Oh, God. I almost guarantee you that they wanted someone to represent a certain community, and they felt like she was qualified.
Apparently.
That has to be how she got that job.
Well, I think if
she didn't pay the iron price.
Well, we've got these huge conflicts of interest. Anytime the media goes after Joe Rogan, all I can just go is, you have a conflict of interest. Everybody in the media who's less powerful than Joe Rogan has a conflict of interest.
Which is everybody in the media.
Which is everybody in the media. Which is why we can't listen to them.
Carlson.
Or we certainly can't listen and believe.
God, hallelujah.
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Oh, my girlfriend is in jail. Not my imaginary girlfriend, but the predator, Elizabeth Holmes. I ran across a new publication, well, new to me, called Quartz. Now, Quartz is supposed to be about evidence-based progressive ideas for the next generation of leaders, kind of nonsense. They write here, Elizabeth Holmes, the former CEO of the fraudulent blood testing startup Theranos, just started her 11-year prison sentence on May 30th, a month after she was initially expected to, after enjoying one last beach day with her husband and her two small children, William, 2, and Invicta, only months old.
Ew.
I know. The fact that she is a young new mother is going to play into any potential sentence, said Caroline Schemp, a federal criminal defense attorney, in The Dropout, the ABC News podcast about the Theranos trial. It sure did. For one, the trial was delayed when she was pregnant with her first child, and the timing of her reporting to prison was likely influenced by the fact that she gave birth to her second child just over 3 months ago. But
do you think she was manipulating things with these pregnancies or not?
Oh, absolutely. But the new mother identity is serving Holmes in another way, too. She is garnering at least some degree of pity, sympathy even, from observers in the media. No matter what you think about her, it's really sad to see someone who is about to go away for 11 years with 2 babies, said another pointless person. She is leaving behind 2 young children, blah, 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 blah. It probably does, but American prisons are full of mothers, and the overwhelming majority deserve more sympathy than Holmes. That she is the one getting the personal spotlight and pity as a mother, separate from her kids, isn't just a function of her profile, but of white privilege. So there you have it, folks. She got a 2-year less sentence than Sonny Balwani, her former lover / CEO of the company. He got 13 years and got thrown in jail right away. She got a lighter sentence, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why he got only 13 years.
She won't serve 2 years. She will not serve 2 years. She'll be a model prisoner, guaranteed. She'll be amazing. And they'll say, release her to home confinement, and she'll spend about 2 or 3 years in home confinement. And then after that, it'll just be probation.
I'm not one to
watch and see.
To go full MGTOW on this sort of stuff, but I have to say the unequal treatment of men and women by the courts kind of pisses me off.
Yeah,
just a little.
Yeah. Whereas your boy will do probably about 11 out of 13.
Well, in this article, they basically say that men get away with these kinds of things all the time. Who? You mean the guy who's doing a longer sentence than her?
Yes,
who are these guys who are getting away with all this stuff? I mean, if your first name isn't Hunter and your last name begins with a B, most people go away for doing the bad things.
That's true. But what these people will say is just go to New York City, go down to Wall Street, and look at every cis white male on the street in a $1,000 suit, and those are the evil ones to them.
Oh, except for the ones wearing $2,000 suits who are the attorneys for the labor unions. Though I digress. All right. Anyway, this is stupid.
They overpay for suits too.
And the courts is another terrible thing. It's essentially the same kind of crap as a lot of these other liberal rags. It just they use slightly more expensive sounding words. There's a veneer of credibility and intellectualism to it that the Daily Beast doesn't have.
Yeah.
But it's just as evil, probably more evil because it's sneakier. This is the kind of crap that NPCs read and believe. I was looking at the numbers on these things. It's like some shocking percentage of people who have no inner monologue.
Yes. True NPCs.
I cannot understand what that's like.
These are people who say, "Oh, it's morning. It's time to eat breakfast." They don't eat breakfast before they're hungry. They don't eat something in particular. They eat the same thing every morning because it's breakfast time. They go to church on Sunday not because they're interested in going to church or the message that the preacher has, because it's Sunday. And that's time to go to church.
People, well, they are a little more complicated than that. There's people who function and do all sorts of things. They just don't have that voice in their head that they're sort of carrying on a conversation with. When they read a book, they don't visualize pictures. They build some sort of different kind of cognitive map of what's been said. I mean, they have reading comprehension and stuff. I'm not saying they have no soul. I'm not saying anything like that, because that would be silly. But does anybody here know anybody who doesn't have an inner monologue? Because the percentage I see where they're saying 50 to 70% of people don't have one, but I don't know anybody who will at least admit to not having one.
I think people confuse their conscious thought with inner monologue. So the self-reporting of you have an inner monologue sometimes gets a little muddied, because I've asked friends and family and members and stuff, and some of them say, yeah, no, I don't really like talk to myself in my head. Like, I think about things, I try to figure things out, but there's no like monologue. And I'm like, that's interesting, because it took me a few minutes to kind of suss out what I'm trying to get at, because they fully didn't even understand the question. Again, they seem to have, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but just from my perception, it seemed like they were conflating the two. And I don't know, it's just weird. It blew my mind too when I first heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It brings my own thought process into question, and then it took me a while to sort of like, I have one, and I'm like, no, of course I do, because when I like do things, I'm like, there is a monologue, like a true monologue of what I'm doing, or could be doing, or how I could do something, or weird, just very weird.
Yeah. Well, it's in case anybody hadn't realized, we're in the everything is insert slur here section of the store, of the show.
I can use gamer words now.
Oh, that's right. We were going to talk. Did I actually put that gamer thing in the schedule, or did I completely forget? Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let me pivot here.
We're going to talk about Gamergate.
No, we're going to talk about a gamer thing, and it's going to give me a chance to not talk for a bit, which I greatly appreciate. Hold on.
As some of you may know, I'm a avid fan. I have been since its inception of World of Warcraft.
Really?
The top-selling, longest-lasting video game, hands down. Most money-making. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Just this game. And so what they did, World of Warcraft, as you can see, the YouTube channel.
Do we want to play some of this video after you set it up?
I'm kind of leading into the video. Give me one more second. So World of Warcraft put out this video about the #1 guild in North America, and it's a big scene. It's really, really huge. Okay, we can at last count, as you can see, there's 809 upvotes. My last count was 850 up, 4,000 down, because I have the extension, and of course that's a rough estimate, but I mean that's a hell of an estimate for the ratio. And right now, as of now, there is connection to Soros groups as far as funding, and Tencent, the big tech gaming giant from China, even though World of Warcraft lost its license in China. Okay, take it away.
Okay.
Cringe warning for everyone. This is
Team Liquid is an esports organization based in both Los Angeles and the Netherlands that has teams in many games. They are the most winning esports organization in the world in terms of prize money earned across all esports games. And recently, at the beginning of this year, they acquired...
They are. She's not.
Yeah, they're a collective. They're basically a corporation that bought esports teams. And they're funding them. They have these, like they said, these facilities where they train, they play, they coach each other, etc. Huge
Is that
business.
CGI?
No, that's Gorlock the Destroyer's sister.
Yeah.
Holy
this
crap.
is Rei
What is
Ayanami after she let herself go.
That's what you would probably envision with a Gamergate or with a diversity hire.
But what do I know? I don't watch anime.
I mean, that's what this. We're 17 seconds in, but I mean,
Brianna Wu, the declining years.
You'll see a theme here.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start it back up. I just don't want us to get copy struck by these morons.
A World of Warcraft guild. They're the best guild in North America. They were previously known as Limit, and they became Liquid Guild. And when they joined, Team Liquid noticed that there was a lack of women in the high-end Warcraft community, specifically the
bullshit.
Yeah, they noticed that.
Competitive community in PvE. Noticing this lack of women or gender minorities in the high-end raiding scene, Team Liquid said, let's do something about this.
Gender minorities.
Yeah. Gender minorities, what would those be? Last I checked, it was roughly 50-50, and there really aren't any gender minorities. She must mean something else. Don't you think?
Yes, I'm afraid you're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't just involve blue hair. Holy, that got loud.
My name is Kelsey. I'm also known as Hula Hoops. I'm the general manager of Raider.io. I am also one of the founding council members of Liquid Women in Warcraft, which is an initiative created by the Team Liquid esports organization.
Liquid Women
Hi, my name is
in
Adine.
Warcraft.
I am the Liquid Women in Warcraft lead and the Liquid Guild treasurer. Liquid.
This is like a. It sounds like a parody. This whole thing.
It does. I expect the bully hunters to show up at any moment.
Yeah.
What? I mean, they do look like the bully hunters.
She looks like AOC.
Yeah. Mixed with Arnita Sarkeesian.
AOC's little can't dance as well as sister, yeah.
So, the blue-haired beastie over there is their director of like ESG type stuff and like all the shit that we see in other corporate structures that people are taking notice and saying, why? You don't need this shit. It's offensive. Anyway, and this other woman that was just introduced to Dean in the foreground here, she's a former air quotes top raider in World of Warcraft, one of the first women virtue signals. My comment. But she was so she was good for the average, but so terrible in the highest echelon of the game that she was a liability. So she was thrown off the team. And also the League of Legends team, and became the item manager, the air quotes banker for the guild. So managing the guild's items in the game and making sure that they're fully stocked and how to spend their money and blah 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 blah. All that's whatever.
We need to acknowledge Kefki's comment. Am I required to play female characters? I like to play males. I don't want to be no dark elf pole dancer. Okay, well, none of us want to force anybody into being a dark elf pole dancer.
I mean, I do kind of
someone as someone who's played dark elf. There's nothing wrong with a dark elf pole dancer.
But if you did want to be a dark elf pole dancer, I know where you can get the outfit for it. It's on Etsy.
The undead without the jaw.
Okay, we have to get to the point where they use that keyword, and then you have to explain it to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Liquid Women in Warcraft is an initiative that was created by Team Liquid and Liquid Guild to basically bring visibility to women and gender minority within the WoW community. And
is it like the WNBA would be the WWOW?
But Liquid, whatever, women, blah, 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 lead and council. It's a council of these harpies.
No.
Look at her claws. Look at those talons and tell me that's not a harpy.
I'm gonna be the person. That's hard to type with those nails.
It could be
as
a
someone who has nails like that. Sometimes can't type with those.
When she drops her credit card, it's like watching a cat go after a laser pointer. I mean,
she could be a griffin.
Yeah, she could be.
And the logo design is just
Okay, I'm hitting play.
Continue.
Elevate them
Just
to the
get the hair
same
for it.
standards as their male counterparts so that they can reach what is known as the top tier of guilds, competing in events such as the World First race.
The ecosystem of high-end World of Warcraft ratings is pretty much all men. And it is not due to women not
Pretty
being
much
good at
it
this
is.
game. Women are fantastic at this game. It is...
See, she said it right there. Women are fantastic
Hold
at
on.
it. Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Well, now I've never done the competitive whatever, but the period of time that I actually played WoW and I was invited to build and stuff, it was a hodgepodge of people who were all very, very helpful.
Mhm.
And if you needed to complete a dungeon or whatever, a raid, to get anything, people would literally like, hey, I need to run this. You're a tiny level, so stay behind me and you'll get all the points. I'll give you a bunch of stuff. I just need whatever to get the achievements and all the stuff you had to unlock, right? And people were wonderful.
Did they know you were a woman?
Probably.
Okay. Then I don't understand. How can your story be true and this woman's story be true?
But that's the thing. I don't understand who they were playing up against. The only thing I can think of is that if you come with this attitude, like the entitlement attitude, probably,
People
nobody
will want
wanted
to be
to play
around
with
you.
them, and then they're
Yeah.
going to say, "Well, the only reason they don't want to be around me is because I'm female." I'm like, no, because you're insufferable. No
Yeah.
one wants to be your friend.
Oh, you mean somebody's personality might not be well attuned to a group environment where people help each other and try to have fun in some of their escapism?
All personalities are
Oh.
equally valuable.
In terms of my work, there's a handful of people who I just really despise. I just don't like working with them. I mean, luckily it's a very small number. Every single one of them's a man. Okay? It's not like human beings don't have this as a characteristic. They're terrible men, they're terrible women. I don't know what gender has to do with any of it, but I think gender has something to do with everything for the purple hair. Or what color is that? Teal?
Turquoise.
Turquoise?
Teal, yeah.
Yeah, whatever color that is that she thinks looks good on her. I think she sees everything, through some sort of gender lens. In fact, I would bet money on it.
Vomited kale shake.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what she's hired to do. That's
But
what this council
She's
is
about to
supposed
say
do.
something incredibly stupid, so I have to let her say it so then Functional can talk about it.
Is an ecosystem where women are essentially held back.
In the WoW community, there are guilds at many different levels. There are some guilds that are progressing on normal. There are some guilds progressing on heroic, some in mythic, some CE, and then some at the world first. Where women and gender minorities fit in is usually within the bottom pool of guilds, which is no fault of their own. There is something that we call the bottleneck, which is an area specifically where it is very, very hard for women and gender minorities to get in, to squeeze into that area. One of the big issues.
So this is presented without evidence, as far as I can tell, Functional. Can you explain what the hell this woman is talking about and why she's wrong?
They're not held
used
back
hand signals
at all. In fact, this type of thing, like I'm at the CE, which is basically you're completing the content before the next content comes out, before a set date. You have a certain time to complete this content. It's the highest echelon next to what they call Race to World First. These guys, Team Liquid, the guys who make the big bucks, who actually do this for a living. They're esports stars. People follow them on the YouTubes and the Twitches and the Instagrams and all that. Like, these are the big pigs. I'm just an echelon below that. It is nothing but pure meritocracy. To achieve this level of gameplay, you have to be good. Nobody cares about your giggly bits. Nobody cares about who you're banging in your off time or what degenerate things you look at online.
or how lame your comb over is.
How clean your comb over is or how well waxed your neck beard is. Nobody gives a shit. They care if you can perform, especially at this highest echelon. You have to be the best of the best of the best. And there are some parallels to other, when we look at the gender wage gap. Men play this game 99.99999% more on average than women. The chunk of the player base is like 98% men. You cannot, and I mean, like they said, there are different echelons of play, and there's a skill level for everyone. There's a time commitment for everyone. The higher skill, the more commitment you have to go in, because you have to improve your character. You have to do superficial things to increase your power outside of what is called a raid, where the 20 of you come together to push these big content dungeons. There's no bottleneck. In fact, if you look at this video, they've hired 3 people. We haven't gotten to the third and the fourth yet, but they've hired 4 people to scour the player base for the best of the best women. And these women always fall short. Because
I mean, eventually there's going to be some that don't, right?
Hey, you're at a skill level that we could work with. Quit your job. We'll give you $50,000 a year. Blah 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 blah. But you know what? They can't find any women like that because none of them want or can commit to that.
Well, they will eventually. I mean, it's a smaller pool, but at some point, it's not like being a woman means you can't hit that level. But like you said, the talent pool is just a lot smaller. And honestly, you know, if you're a woman with a high skill set, maybe there's just something better for them to be doing, given all of the demand there are for high skill women in all sorts of different things. Is esport? I mean, I know esports is lucrative, but how much money are we talking about? How much money do these people make? Well, I mean, the individual players.
Individually?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there's probably a few at the top who make like a ton. But, you know, if you're a high skill woman, right? You're a woman, you've got all these skills, you're the best of the best of the best on the planet. Maybe they're just doing something else, like becoming criminal defense attorneys or anything. I mean, just think about all the other things that people could do. I mean,
Harry,
people decide to do different things. Maybe it isn't so much about gender. It's just that women with high skills just choose to do different things more often than not. Maybe they just think it's silly. I don't know.
And Harry, it's not like the money isn't there. Just Team Liquid alone. So they are the best of the best. Okay, this is your Dale Earnhardt of World of Warcraft. They are sponsored by Alienware, Coinbase, Honda, Bison, Monster Energy, SAP, IMC, Twitch. The money is there. Yeah. If they could find somebody, a female specifically, that could compete with the big boys, they would have found her by now. They would have dumped a dump truck full of money in front of them. And in fact, later on in the video, they'll show you examples of aside from Adine, of women who have who had that dump truck show up and they failed, they collapsed, they could not compete. It just comes down to the ability in game. There's no bottleneck. There's no bottleneck. A friend of mine in my Warcraft guild had mentioned, because we talked about this, that maybe it's because, there is, I wouldn't say, use the word harassment. I wouldn't say that there's harassment, but there is a different approach that some people take when dealing with women in the video game because they are such a small minority. There is a lot of the, oh, wow, you're a woman, like kind of surprise. But aside from that, that's about it.
Yep.
Sure, you're gonna. It's the online space with millions of people playing the game. You're gonna have those people who are dickheads about it. But for the most part, nobody really cares. Like, oh, you're a woman. That's cool.
Well, I think I found a better way to make my point. Okay, so there's her, and then there's her. Now, when I say that women may just be making different choices, right? Because it's all about preference. If there are no barriers to entry, you frequently see things not end up in equal proportions. We've seen this in Sweden. For instance, in terms of healthcare, lots of different things where men and women just self-select differently. There may just be a general lack of interest, in games among many women, this type of gaming. I mean, hashtag not all, Okay. And it may be that, like I said, people with this skill set just have found even more lucrative things to do, or that they find maybe more satisfying in some way. But if you look at this person and look at the other person, I don't see them having a whole bunch of options. I think that this, as a job for her, is a huge windfall. This is like the best thing that ever happened to her, that Liquid's coming and throwing money at her to do diversity and inclusion stuff for them.
Yeah.
I don't see her going off becoming like a senior partner at KPMG or, Alcoa Aluminum or anything, right? I mean, where else would she be that's better than this for her? And I'm thinking that the women who would be the winners may be off doing God knows what else. It's just a hypothesis. But anyway, I've made my point. That's enough. So you want to play a little more of this, or let me know when you think are there more points to be made?
I also want to mention that she does mention that they typically are at the bottom pool. And again, it's just simply because they're not good, as good as the people who need to be in the upmost echelon. I play with women at the second highest echelon. They're very few and far between, but they do exist. So there's no real bottleneck other than the skill. However, something else did come up in my mind when thinking about this, is that there might also be something to do with the mental instability of people like this, their fragile nature, their virtue signaling /woke /pushing their instability onto others, which, their real world like identity politics stuff, which is supposed to be something akin to escapism. So when you're having to show up for scheduled activities with 19 other people, if you're that type of person, people aren't going to want to be around you. You're constantly going on about how you're great and you're a woman and girl power and all this other DEI kind of stuff. Nobody wants you in their guild. We're here to play a video game, not listen to you go off about how you're an oppressed gender minority. Anyway.
And just to be clear, just to throw this out there, I have in the past worked on promotions with and tried to help 3 different world-class professional women's sports organizations. Okay. I feel pretty okay with my credentials in this area. Obviously, I can't dox myself, so you just have to take my word for it. But this just irritates me so much, this whining and moaning about this sort of stuff. I feel like we've covered this. So you should probably put the link to this in the chat so people can subject themselves to the whole experience that is this terrible, terrible video.
Okay. Sure. Sorry. I took a.
How dare you? I know. It's okay.
So yeah, they basically go on and on. The interesting thing was Team Liquid hasn't won since 2020, since they started really pushing this stuff, really. And it's kind of proven itself that it didn't work. Because you had people like Adine. There was another woman they introduced like halfway through the video who's actually very, very pretty. And sure enough, she goes on to be like sort of the face of the organization. She's their podcaster, their commentator.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shitty to me because they push these, they promise these girls this thing, knowing that they can't compete, and then they push them into these roles where they're just supporting roles for the men and just to prop them up and whatever because they're women's. Now we have our diversity quota because remember they're in California.
Yeah.
So I will find that link and I will put it.
All right.
So if anybody wants to cringe a little bit more, because the first time I watched it, I got about like 50 seconds in and I turned it off because I was like, ugh.
By the way, I really am enjoying the chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip over this Quillette thing for a bit because it just seems a bit heavy. But here's the thing.
He's not heavy. He's my brother.
Periodic table evolution cut from Indian textbooks. Yes, I am not. I'm not particularly sure why, but the Indian government has sort of decided that if you're not going to go into the sciences, there's a bunch of basic science that you just aren't going to be subjected to. and it includes things like the periodic table and evolution. This seems like kind of a mistake to me that they're not teaching basic science sort of to everybody.
We are just being efficient now.
Yeah. But I think if the charitable way of looking at this might be, well, if you're going to become, like some sort of welder or something, maybe you just don't need to know about all this stuff. Maybe they're just fast tracking people on career tracks more quickly. But there's just something about this that doesn't sit quite right with me. And I went to Deutsche Welle because I know how the Germans are going to feel about this. They're going to say, this is a bad idea. This means that the only students who will learn evolution, for example, under these new cuts are those who have opted to major in biology in their final 2 years. Students who opt for a different topic like commerce, computer science, or humanities won't have that opportunity. So basic science, just nobody, unless you're basically going to become a scientist, they're just not teaching this to people. And this seems like a terrible, terrible mistake to me. How can you, as somebody in a democracy or a representative democracy, vote on things like nuclear power if you don't understand something as basic as the periodic table of the elements? I mean, just as an example.
All part of the plan.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to be an alt-centrist conspiracy theorist like Elon Musk or anything, right?
But
so I better be careful.
It's hard not to draw these conclusions when you see the dots on the board, man.
I don't know, man.
I'm just glad people are kind of taking notice. And
here's the thing. When it comes to conspiracies, there are conspiracies. They aren't large the way that I think they are. They're not the all-encompassing, multi-country, cross-industry, cross-interest alliances. There's no such thing as that. That never happens.
No.
What happens is you get communities of interest that pool together, and people, particularly people who go to business school, are trained to recognize those communities of interest and exploit them to create wealth. Basically, and it's far away from its original intended purpose. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Richard Head says, so India will now meet U.S. standards. Yeah, we can, pretty soon we'll be able to make fun of them for not doing geography. That's going to be great. I look forward to that. Anyway, India, you're being stupid. Cut it out.
I think it's important that they learn English literature and poetry and stuff. This is their chance to learn that. I think it's good for them to get that in the course of their high school studies, at least some exposure. Not a bad thing.
So we need to make fun of Chicago for a bit. I mean, we knew the new mayor of Chicago was bad, right? I mean,
yes.
But the question is just how bad is he? Well, he's bad enough that the Wall Street Journal is putting out opinion pieces called A Chicago Self-Destruction Plan. Now, the Wall Street Journal is not exactly a conservative publication at this point. The new mayor's allies lay out their agenda, and the agenda is called First We Get the Money. Now, you may think that I'm making this up. Here's the link to their actual document. I will show it to you. First We Get the Money, $12 billion to fund a just Chicago. That's billion with a B. That's what it's going to take. First, we get the money. $12 billion to fund a just Chicago. So the Wall Street Journal lays this out pretty well. That didn't take long. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson was inaugurated last week, and 2 days later, his allies released a report with their agenda for the next 4 years. Title, First We Get the Money. They mean your money. The report offers a flavor of the trend in Chicago politics and why the once great city is struggling. The report says that a mere $12 billion in new spending will make Chicago truly safe by addressing issues that underlie crime and poverty. To get the cash, the mayor would collect $6.8 billion by making the wealthy and corporations pay what they owe, in quotes, and then cut spending on the Chicago Police Department. Yes, we're going to deal with crime and poverty, by raising taxes on wealthy people and corporations and cutting the police budget. Now, they've got some really great ideas in here. One of them is a $33 per employee head tax. So we'll just charge you per employee because that won't give you a disincentive to hire people at all. Previously, Rahm Emanuel, when he was mayor of this, he said that a $4 per head tax was a job killer. They also want to increase the price on real estate transfers over $1 million because we all know how well that's going to work. That's just terrible. That'll
be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. There's nothing that's going to be wrong with that. They want to charge a fee on vacant luxury apartments because they say this will
cost this empty houses tax.
Yeah. Landlords with luxury apartments that are vacant should pay a fee to encourage them to charge more affordable rents. The authors want to raise the tax on jet fuel. Listen carefully. They want to raise the tax on jet fuel to force airlines to pay for profiting from creating pollution in our city. So if you fly in through Chicago, they're going to basically add an extra charge on top of the cost of that very expensive fuel. If you fly through Chicago, I can't imagine what would possibly happen as a result of this. See, they also want it. Now, this is the coup de grace right here. They add a financial transactions tax for a cut of every trade at the Chicago Board of Trade and the Chicago Board Options Exchange. How do you think this is going to play out, Skep?
Oh, it'll be fine.
Well, what about a new 3.5% income tax added on to anybody who makes over $100,000 a year?
You realize what this does is, first of all, it demoralizes the populace. Social psychology level layer. That's an awful thing to do.
Yeah.
And then it's going to remove probably between another probably 8 to 10% of everybody's money when you get done looking at the overall taxing effect of the stuff. It's probably going to take about 10% of people's income away. That's a lot. For a lot of people, that's all their discretionary income. You are going to be putting people at the line. You shift that economic window of comfortableness and just simply by taking the resources away from the people earning money. That's so unfair. It's so wrong. It's so destructive to an economy. You slow down all the wealth creating activities that happen in the economy, all those things that build the trust that I keep talking about, that, the things that build up inside to form an economy and a currency that people, have faith in.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll start to undermine confidence in a lot of areas, not the least of which consumer confidence will plummet. And then, eventually it's going to have effects on the currency too.
As great as this plan is, you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't know how it could get any better, but let me tell you what the plan is for the police. I'm just going to do this for a minute. But if you act now, here's the plan for the police. There are about 2,000 openings right now for more police because people are just quitting the force, retiring early, just getting the hell away from there. Because who would want to be a policeman in Chicago, honestly?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
We're going to just we're going to cancel all of those openings. Just get rid of them. We're just not going to fill those 2,000 openings. Then they're going to cut the police budget by 9% every year for the next several years.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
That's defunding.
In Chicago.
Yeah,
one
Chicago.
of the most violent cities.
They'll never do that, by the way. They're saying they'll never, ever.
Well, I used to say things like "this'll never happen," and then I've been wrong so many times lately that little muscle in my brain is gone. The one that is supposed to think these thoughts.
When it hurts bad, when it hurts bad enough, the money interest will come in. The grown-ups will come in and say, "Okay, playtime's over."
In 4 years, he's going to get voted out because it's going to be an absolute catastrophe. But I see these people staying true to the program for the full 4 years. I think Chicago is in for a very, very bad time.
I think he is going to lame duck himself. Actually, I think his last 2 years are completely impotent. A bunch of virtue signaling and money grubbing. That's the kind of activities that this kind of guy is good at. He's not good at running a city. He has no clue how to manage his way out of a paper bag, as far as I can tell.
Well, I'm trying to put all the stuff that might get us copy struck and get the stream shut down at the end of the show. Okay. So I'm putting all that stuff at the end. So the whole point of broadcasting in 4K, you don't have to watch it in 4K. You can watch it in 1440. You can watch it in whatever you want, but you have the options. So we've got nice, clear video, and hopefully everybody can enjoy stuff. Is so that I can do more with the stream that I couldn't do before, because StreamYards was kind of terrible. So we're trying to do all this new stuff, but we have to go through a few other things that aren't likely to get us copy struck. So we're going in increasing probability of copy strike. Here are the following stories. I noticed that there are a lot of really stupid people that don't seem to understand that nature doesn't care about them. So here is a California tourist who attempts to ride a wild bison.
Oh, that poor bison.
Yeah.
No?
Oh, look, there's a bison over there. Maybe I should go try to ride it.
Hi.
Look at that. Minding his business. Chilling.
Paging Dr. Darwin. Paging Dr. Darwin.
Of course he's from California.
Wait, is this Stacey Abrams' news video?
Yeah.
The guy honestly say, hi, I'm your friend.
Yeah. Says, hi, I'm your friend.
Mind if I ride you? Can I ride you?
He said that before.
I just want to pet you.
Can I pet you?
What a fucking...
Can I pet you?
This guy, luckily the video ends probably before this guy gets ended. So that's an example. So here's a woman who got even closer. Let's see what happened. She basically got tossed so hard that she got tossed out of her pants.
It seems like a dream photo op as these sightseers come across a herd of bison. But this woman starts raising concerns.
How close does she have to get?
She seems fearless as she approaches the huge
She has a
beasts.
Karen haircut.
What the are you doing?
Then it all goes horribly wrong.
Oh my god, it got her. Yep. Oh my god.
The woman is tossed around on the horns of one of the beasts.
She has no pants on?
No, not anymore.
Witnesses rush to help the stricken woman.
She got too close.
She didn't get killed, so...
There's a buffalo out there with that woman's jeans hanging from its antler.
Okay.
And she is right here.
You can see the jeans hanging from the bison's horns.
And the sad thing is that when these animals attack humans, they will put them down. So not only does the human get injured, but these animals can end up getting harambe'd.
I hope they do.
They do. That's how we as humans when we find animals that attack humans, we tend to just kill them to discourage that sort of behavior in their gene pool. And it's not, I mean, because Harambe shouldn't have been killed. He didn't kill that kid or do anything wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a real problem. But you may think to yourself, well, it's just a big friendly cow, right? What can it do? You remember grizzly bears? Grizzly bears used to kill people all the freaking time. Here's a fight between a grizzly bear and a bison. Let's see how the bison fares against a grizzly.
But the bison kicks it.
Yeah.
Stop. No, I said no.
Yeah, no means no.
No
Why
biting.
are you doing this?
I told you I'm not in the
Did
mood.
you stop?
Yeah, this grizzly's
stop,
just
I'm gonna
like
kick you.
harassing this bison.
You just about have gone out by patience.
Okay, that one hurt. Knock it off.
Yeah. And it goes on for a while, and then Bison's like, okay, I've had enough of your bullshit. Yeah, the bison just decides, no, screw you, and the bear just keeps coming back. But, you know, I hate to ruin it for you, but yeah, basically the bison is impervious to the bear. That bear, a grizzly bear versus one of those bison, the bison
so,
just
like,
wins.
Chill.
Yeah.
You know what I would call that? Yeah, what I would name that bear? Optimist.
Optimist Prime.
Optimist Prime.
Yes. So, as a human being, just think about the pecking order. It's like, you wouldn't try to ride a bear, would you? Don't try to ride a bison.
Yeah, both are bad ideas.
Both are bad ideas, but the bison is a pretty freaking bad idea. The bison is tougher than the damn bear, and if he decides he doesn't like you, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're dead.
People are stupid.
If they decide they want to kill you, they can kill you. And there really isn't a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was just a little palate cleanser. Survey uncovers what clothing is unacceptable at the office. So, Sora,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So this was actually, and I know this is going to come as a shock, sponsored by an air conditioning manufacturer. I know. I was amazed as well. So according to this stupid survey, top items workers think are inappropriate for men to wear in the office. Casual gym shorts, right?
Yeah.
Gym gear, cycling gear. So if you show up on your bike and you're wearing your speed pantyhose, you got to change out of that stuff before you go work at your desk. Flip-flops, overalls. Yeah. Now, maybe if Serenity was here, we could have a conversation about the overalls. Just playing off of the stereotypes about West Virginia. Hey, Clem, you process that order? Okay. Undershirts, Christmas sweaters. Now, who are these people that think you can't wear a Christmas sweater to work? That's dumb. Of course you can wear it.
Yeah. I mean, seasonally appropriate, sure.
Any time of year. As far as I'm concerned, in August you can wear a Christmas sweater. Now,
in July,
I'm going to think less of that person. But as far as it being inappropriate for work, I don't know. Doesn't really seem like a work violation, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes you an idiot. Tailored shorts, sneakers, casual sweater, jeans, polo neck, roll neck sweater, or a V-neck sweater. Now that seems really stupid to me because I had like cashmere sweater vests that were V-neck with ties underneath them. Yeah. What the hell's wrong with that?
I mean, like, do they mean like a V-neck sweater without anything underneath, and
except like a big gold chain with like a rooster with ruby eyes?
Yeah, sure.
Hey. Okay. Top 10 items for the ladies. Okay, gym gear, bralette. Yeah. What the hell's a bralette? Is it like a bra but smaller?
It's a long line bra. It might not have any underwire support. It's very comfortable.
Okay. Crop top. Now, come on, Skep. Yeah. You remember when I was talking about the world being more fun?
Yeah, exactly. Crop top.
Crop top. What? Tube tops and crop tops all the way around.
Because you have to. If you say yes to crop top, that means anyone can wear it.
Okay.
Like, that's the truth. That's
so, like, for example.
So, like, if Boogie 5465 or whatever his name is worked at your company, you could get Wings of Glory or what was it? Wings of Redemption and Boogie both wearing tube tops.
Tube tops.
You know, they had a boxing match recently.
Sausage casing.
Did you see that there was a boxing match between Boogie and Wings of Redemption?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Who says things aren't fun? Okay. Crocs. Crocs are just terrible. Yeah. Flip-flops again. Hot pants. Now, unless you're working the pole, what is it? The Dark L pole dancer? I think hot pants probably out. Tube top.
Well, okay. So nowadays, they have casual shorts on as well, because it's like it's the fashion to that's leisure. I guess that's under gym gear, but it's not really, because bike shorts are a thing, right?
Yeah.
I thank Kim Kardashian for making it so like you can dress up bike shorts by wearing like really pretty tops with bike shorts, and then like some nice pair of shoes and stuff, or even heels. It's pretty gross. It's usually the type of shorts you'd wear under a skirt or a dress to prevent like a rub. But yeah.
Yeah.
Don't wear them. Don't wear them on their own.
Yeah. Casual shorts, overalls, undershirt chemise, play suit.
Okay.
Now, what the hell is a play suit?
I have an objection.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of undershirts like chemise, so lingerie as they wear stuff out there that are really cute.
But in the
and
office.
if you wear like a blazer over it, I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
Or like a cardigan, I think.
I've only seen a few episodes of Seinfeld, but I saw that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Mini dress. I'll tell you after the show. I'll tell you when the show's done. I'm not going to comment on that one right now. Mini skirt, skort. What's wrong with a skort?
Why?
What's wrong?
Like, it covers all the bases. Is it because they tend to be short? Probably.
What if you're wearing jorts?
Ew.
Only
Is
if you're
that
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And leggings. I don't know.
I think the things that they think are appropriate would be a shorter list. Just stick to that list and it'd be easier to remember.
What, you don't want to dress like Olivia Newton-John in the physical video when you're in the office? What are you talking about?
So, again, with the play suit, they mean like the short. I guess they mean short, like instead of a jumpsuit, play suit. Yeah, okay. That can be a bit too casual.
Yeah.
But a skort.
Yeah.
I love a skort.
What's wrong with a skort? People wear them when they ride bicycles and stuff. So you go to get on the Google bike, right? You work at Google, you go to get on the Google bike. It's totally practical. It's a skirt short combo thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's I think these people should just shut up. I mean, as uptight as I am about some
half
things,
of them is fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I think this is stupid. I think these people are stupid. Like Kefki said, what's wrong with a crop top? Nothing wrong in my opinion.
Well, see, and it's also, I think it depends on, because this is the office, but like, what's the office nowadays? Are you talking about, because like a startup that's they'll have looser ideas of what office casual is, I suppose.
It's not a real startup unless people find out whether you talk in your sleep or not. Just throw that. Yeah, people are just uptight about stuff like this. I don't think it matters. As long as it's not disruptive to the office environment, I don't think it really matters.
I will point out a sexism in this list, in these two lists. So in the men's, it says do not wear tailored shorts, but that's not part of the women's list, just casual shorts. Because short suits, as in instead of a pantsuit, it's a shorts thing, has been a thingish in the last few years. Now, I've seen some short suits that are very cute, and if you have the body for it, it looks really nice on women. I shared a picture with you, Harry, of like a men's tailored shorts from the 70s. I think we should bring back.
Absolutely.
Like, no? Why can't men wear tailored shorts? They're tailored. That usually means it's better fitted. It's a suit pant style, right?
Those are gay.
Why are you gay? You are gay. All right, so moving on. Let's see. I think we've passed the 2-hour mark. So if we get nuked, we're okay. It won't be that big an ordeal. So Susan, do your worst. So I actually, sorry, you're the only one I talked to about this, but the new Little Mermaid thing, right? We talked about this and we have differing opinions. So the Little Mermaid, just the plot summary, is basically once a year, mermaids get to go above water. She sees a hunky dude. They end up saving him. And then she makes a deal with a witch to essentially get her immortal soul if she can basically marry this prince above ground, and gives up her voice, and there's potions and stuff. And it's all very dire. And they've taken this Hans Christian Andersen thing and turned it into a children's thing. And they've remade it recently with, I guess, our first African-American mermaid. Because having a lot of melanin where there's very little sunlight makes perfect sense at the bottom of the ocean.
She's non-binary, isn't she?
Is she also? That's fantastic.
I think we're supposed to think so.
But Sora and I are of two different opinions about this little bit of music in the original thing. So I'm just going to play just a very short amount of it. Please don't kill us, Disney.
Oh, no, you're not going to play this.
I am.
Then I came flying here for you to see and hear what I found. Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham.
I remember.
What the hell?
Red swamp,
chicka, wham, 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 wham.
My soul is.
I thought this was supposed to be just like, you know, Under the Sea and Calypso and Happy and stuff. What the hell is this? I mean, am I just old and out of touch? But this seems terrible to me.
No,
it really
even
does.
my kitten's looking at me like, what the hell did I just hear?
Let's do that.
Took
Let's
acid and took over Disney.
Let's do that. Let's do that again, just one more time.
No.
Then I came flying here for you to see and hear what I found. Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham.
That's Awkwafina.
That's better than Mozart.
Yeah. Just a little urban poetry.
Mozart guy.
The bad man stop.
Fucking awesome.
Remember the swamp? Remember what I said in the swamp when I went wham?
Womp chicka womp womp chicka womp womp.
Saddlebutt.
I hope they lose money on this movie. I really do.
Chicka.
It's gotten to a
chicka,
point.
womp,
I've heard it a
boom.
few times.
Yeah.
That I hate it, but it's funny now.
It is funny, but it's funny because it's bad, but it's supposed to be like a musical and you're supposed to walk out of the theater.
How do you sing along to this?
Well, you're supposed to walk out of the theater like humming the songs, right?
Yeah.
You know, let it go, whatever. You do. That's the way the Disney musical thing's supposed to work. What do you go? Swamp. It's like, I would, if I don't know. I think this is going to cause child abuse if the children run around doing this thing.
It's gonna if kids start having seizures in the movie theater.
Did we break functional? What do you mean? Hold on, what?
That voice that's doing the womp chicka womp womp.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's not enough.
Yeah, that's Awkwafina.
Oh, she's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the worst.
I just saw her in Renfield, and I thought she was really cute. That was a good movie. I liked it.
It was a good movie. She ruined it. She's
I know. I liked.
What is Renfield about?
Renfield is basically like Dracula, the little puppet guy, like Renfield from,
the bug
from
eater
the original one. In
guy.
modern day.
Redfield. Yeah, okay,
Renfield,
so
yeah,
it's
and
about that.
basically him breaking out of the control of Dracula.
Dracula.
He goes to AA meetings about narcissistic people trying to get his life turned around, and
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
it's cute.
Dracula's played by Nick Cage, and
such
like
good
any
casting.
really great,
Oh.
yes, like any really great Nicolas Cage involvement, use him sparingly so that his grandioseness, his over the top style, can be fully appreciated and not super saturate the movie. And it really lets
You can get sick of him overacting because you're right.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Very
That's
metered.
his shtick.
He's in a few scenes.
That's a
I'm
really
not trying.
good
I'm not
point.
going to spoil anything, but it really centers around the main character Renfield, who's played by help me out here, sorry.
Nicholas. No.
Holt. Nick Holt. Nicholas Holt. Yeah.
Nicholas Holt, yeah.
He's a really, really good young actor who's been in a lot of really good stuff. He was
So you're impressed with him.
Beast.
He was Beast in the X-Men First Class movie. He played the driving guy in Mad Max Fury Road. The guy who kind of becomes good.
Chrome.
Yeah. What a day! What a lovely day! That guy. I mean, he's
acting,
really
right?
good.
You want to talk about
Really young.
overacting?
He's got a lot of range, a lot of gravitas. So big things from him, and this was a really good role for him as well. I just think that the entire movie was ruined by, well, not ruined, but her character was completely ruined by her being the actor. she's a 4 foot tall, chubby Asian woman. And really, that's. I mean, yeah, I guess you could see that as a modern New York cop. Never mind.
Okay, so Functional, I got something special for you because you talked about overacting. I may have to do a little bit of scrubbing to get to it, but I present to you 1960 William Shatner, Julius Caesar.
Nice.
Hey, two, Brute.
Let's see, let's say stabby.
My God, Bones! He's got a knife! What will become of the Republic?
Yeah, let's get to gotta get to the part where friends Roman's countrymen.
And yes, Sora, that's my kitty meowing.
Friends, Roman's countrymen.
They
Then
meow
me.
back.
Your ears.
She'll know what I mean.
Here we are.
Our permission is allowed to make. I do entreat you. Not a man depart, save I alone. Till Antony have spoke.
For Brutus' sake, I am beholden.
Then for Brutus' sake, he finds himself beholding to us all.
Yeah, because he's Acadian.
You gentle Romans. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often turret with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault.
This is completely throwing me off. If anything, he's understated.
Yeah.
How the hell did that happen? I'm so confused. I have another thing of him playing Genghis Khan. We'll save that for another thing. No, I was watching this. Apparently, he hadn't gone full Shatner yet in 1960. I apologize. Okay, I was completely wrong. All right, so how do I get past me being wrong so publicly and so embarrassed?
Self-flagellation.
Self-flagellation. Okay, we can do this.
Self-immolation.
Self-defenestration.
YouTuber Johnny Somali, who went viral after making racist Asian jokes about Pearl Harbor at a Japanese man.
Hope nobody in the chat was saying weird shit. If I go back and whoa, what the fuck?
He just got E-Honda slapped in Japan.
Yo, chill out.
How far out of line do you have to get for Japanese people to start punching you in the face?
Well, the guy recognized him from his streams where he's being very intentionally offensive to people to get a reaction and, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy recognized him, gave him a full-on, palm punch to the face and, wouldn't let him go. And the people he was with, the Japanese guy was with, they started wailing on him.
Good.
They intimidate him, they follow him, and then they just start, not to the point where they want to cause him grievous bodily harm, but they're knocking him around a little bit to be like, yo, you're not welcome here. Guy starts screaming epithets and just basically saying, get the fuck out of Japan. Which, good. No country, no city, no civilization should have to put up with people like this. It's a goddamn grievous offense to my senses that we allow that shit to continue here in the West. When countries like Japan, they're not going to stand for it. Russia, Brazil, Lithuania, Romania, they're not going to put up with this bullshit. Yet the West is just a lot of the people in power laying over and letting this shit go on.
No, that's fine. So there's one thing that I wanted to talk about, sort of following up on the previous show, but we sort of don't have time for it. I don't see, is Spudgun in the chat? Because if Spudgun's in the chat, I have to do it. If he's not, then I can skip it. I don't see him in the recent chats.
No, he's gone.
Okay, we'll save it for next time because it involves Space 1999, and I just can't do it without him being here because we need at least one British person to be here to respond to it. So I think to sort of end things, let's look at some Peruvian water whistles.
Oh, for sure.
Yay! Oh, I love this.
What the hell?
It's just got a chamber.
I like that one, the wolf.
Yeah. God, humans are clever.
Those are all made in China, too.
This is the kind of stuff you buy your sister's kid when you really want to annoy the fuck out of her. I know that sound.
Wow. Well, this has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Cool. Thank you, chat. Thank you, panel. Zoo's closed. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.